Bitcoin surging today. Beautiful move. Listen, every risk asset made a move today to the upside. I mean, it wasn't just stocks. Crypto, gold had a decent move, although gold not huge, but a decent move there. But crypto and altcoins. And one of the interesting things about altcoins, folks, is
Gareth Soloway talks crypto and Bitcoin, covering trends, predictions, and market moves. Let's dive in together. Watch now.
we talked earlier in the week about how Bitcoin dominance broke down, and that could signal that altcoins could outperform Bitcoin in the near term, and that's exactly what's happening. All right, so while Bitcoin's having a good day, altcoins are having a better day, no doubt about it. All right, so let's go back to the charts and take a look. Big bounce, notice pivot low here. So again, if you were going to get a bounce, yes, but this is the kicker, guys, is that Bitcoin, like I talked about in the game plan, in my trading game plan here, this is your upside resistance right around 118,000. And because you confirmed below this upsloping trend line, this needs to be respected as resistance. That's where it's going to run into some major trouble. In fact, it got very close. We got to 117,416 within $600 of that trend line, stalling out a little. Wouldn't be surprised if we go up over the weekend, tag that line, but now that line becomes a sell in the near term on Bitcoin. All right, Ethereum, this was a great call, guys, that I made earlier this week. I said, guys, look for it to pull back right into here. This is a major support at around the 4,075 level, former pivot high here and here, going back to December 2024 and March of 2024. When you pull back after confirming above it, which we did do right here, so it confirmed the breakout, when you pull back, this becomes major support, and you buy that for a pop-up. Now, it is nearing major double top, around 4,800 and change. Maybe it touches 5,000, but that, again, will be major resistance. But this was a great call earlier this week, again, that I said, again, look for it to bounce significantly, maybe even go to 5,000. And sure enough, just like that, from 4,000 to 4,800 here in just a couple days on ETH. Gold today, small bounce. Gold still is in weak position because it's broken its upsloping trend line. Little bit of a bounce today. It was up about 1%. But again, for me, until proven otherwise, until the chart tells me the chart is in weak position, for it to get in strong position and look like it can go a lot higher, you need to take out this $3,500 level, upsloping trend line merging with double top. If it can get above that, it should head to 4,000. All right. Again, it's shorter term. I'm slightly negative. Beautiful rally on silver today. Still.
Bitcoin and the broader crypto market ended last week on a strong note after Jerome Powell's dovish comments lifted investor confidence. Ethereum hit a fresh all-time high, extending a rally that began in April from its $1,350 low. As the new week begins, several catalysts are set to drive momentum in both Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. The most important event will be NVIDIA's earnings release on Wednesday. As the world's largest company and a key player in the artificial intelligence boom, its results will signal the health of the broader tech industry. Analysts expect revenue to hit $46 billion, a staggering 53% increase from last year, with some projections as high as $52 billion. Strong numbers could fuel optimism in both equities and digital assets, while weaker results may trigger volatility. On Thursday, attention will shift to the U.S. Personal Consumption Expenditure (PCE) report, the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge. Economists forecast core PCE to rise 0.3% in July, marking a 2.8% yearly increase. This release, combined with income, spending, GDP, and consumer confidence data, will guide expectations for future Fed decisions. Finally, crypto unlocks will add intrigue. Pi Network continues its massive daily token releases, while Axelar and Ronin will inject millions in supply. The largest unlocks will come from Optimism and Redstone, worth $25 million and $16.5 million respectively. These events could weigh on prices if demand fails to match supply, making them crucial for traders to watch closely.
On we go, the dollar breaking lower today. I did say that the dollar had been quiet for days. We were just waiting on Jerome Powell. Remember that anytime the Fed is more dovish, it means that they're more likely to go and lower rates. That means more money can be lent or will be lent, essentially more money in the system. That dilutes dollars and so you go down. And also remember, this was a great call this morning and the past few days. This is your flagpole. and this is your bear flag of consolidation, favoring a downside move. Another one that I've been steadfast on, the 10-year yield, here it is, broke the wedge, confirmed the wedge, so it was a confirmed breakdown, then bear flagged, starting to come down, yields falling today about 0.07% to 4.25%. And again, classic pattern recognition there. And again, that was the high probability move coming in here. Now, one other trade I gave this morning in the game plan on Friday morning was this trade. I said, guys, you got to buy the breakout here and the retrace to the scene of the crime on the IWM. Look at the IWM today, up 4% on the day. Incredible, incredible, incredible move there. Wow, what a move. 4% in an index in one day, but that's what it was. And honestly, I think it's going to go higher. Now, again, do you chase it up here? That's, I don't like to chase, but the point being is, on pullbacks, this should go higher, and you buy the pullbacks. NVIDIA today got a little bit of a reprieve. Notice, again, even though it has broken this trend line and gotten a bounce, this chart would still be looked at in a negative bias stance. Now, you might say, why? Well, because just simply put, as simple as it gets, the trend line's been broken. So unless NVIDIA regains the trend line, then you could expect maybe a push up into that trend line, but then you would expect another bigger fall. I still think NVIDIA's buy, again, and by the way, NVIDIA reports earnings next week, so we'll see. But eventually it should come back to this 153 former high pivot. And again, it's now, the clock is ticking now on NVIDIA for downside versus when it was staying above the trend line. It could have honestly continued that way for a longer period, but once it breaks, reality starts to set in. Palantir today, this is an interesting one, folks. Palantir, only a small bounce, 1.63%. If this was a month ago, this stock would have been up 7% today. All right, so that to me tells me again that there has continued to be either retailers selling or institutions continue to unload this one. It did hold support right here. You can see my trend line this week where I called out where it should get a bounce, and it did get a bounce. But now this is price action today is very, very weak. Don't be surprised to see this down next week.
Bitcoin dominance has slipped sharply, falling from nearly 66% to around 58%, and the shift is capturing the attention of traders everywhere. This decline signals that capital is rotating out of Bitcoin and into Ethereum and other altcoins. Technical indicators are also reinforcing the move, with a clear bearish divergence on the Relative Strength Index, or RSI, and a confirmed break below the critical 64.81% support level. These developments suggest Bitcoin's market share could continue sliding, with downside targets near 50.56% and even 48.32% if selling pressure holds. Ethereum reclaiming its all-time high has been one of the strongest signals of this rotation. Its rally has fueled optimism across the broader altcoin market, especially in smart contract platforms and DeFi tokens. Analysts argue that Ethereum's strength is not an isolated event, but rather part of a structural shift where capital is broadening out from Bitcoin into a wider basket of cryptocurrencies. The bigger picture shows Bitcoin dominance rising from below 50% in early 2024 to nearly 66% in mid-2025, before this reversal began. As dominance now tests wedge support near 59.97%, traders are watching closely. A breakdown could accelerate the momentum for altcoins, while only a strong rebound would give Bitcoin renewed strength. If you have been watching so far, thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Zella for daily news all for free. That's all for today's video. Until next time.